people, a very small number, I should say, and looked for an immediate reaction. Some people don't have an immediate reaction. Their reaction occurs within a couple hours when they're finished with the quote study. There have been a few studies, one done by Andrew Marino, who's in Texas, where he's looked at a physician who complained of this problem and was able to see changes in her brain and in subtle measures of her nervous system that could not be apparent to her, that he could record when she was being exposed or not exposed. We think that there is a small percentage of people who are quite responsive and reactive to this, but everybody does react in some way. Some people are aware of it, some people are not aware of it. And the problem has been that we have no serious research underway on this issue whatsoever. And that's why what we're calling for is a 2 cents a month campaign. Would you give 2 cents? Would you give 2 cents from the consumer, from the manufacturer, and from the provider to create a massive fund that would exist for 8 years to train doctors and engineers in this field? Because it's a very obscure field in which very few people have training. I spent years working in toxicology and epidemiology, and I knew very little about this issue when I first encountered it when my first grandchild was born. And I became very interested in how bright he was, he still is, and how quickly he, at 9 months of age, could crawl over, take a cell phone, turn it on, and play a game. And as I began to look into what was known about the developing brain, I became shocked. Because
that's a whole nother area. The studies are legion, and even mainline medical doctors like yourself and others are saying, do not give kids these. They're wiring their brains. It's wiring them in a bad way. And then I go to the grocery store, or I go to a restaurant. Nobody's kids are talking to mommy and daddy now. They are on these tablets. They are on these phones. And then you got smart meters on the house radiating us. All the new appliances are hooked into it. And this is a totally unstudied area, as you were saying, and it's just ubiquitous now. We're being bathed. Google's launching blimps and drones that are going to bring in microwave communication everywhere. They're
calling for something called the Baby Safe Project with the head of OBGYN at Yale University, Dr. Hugh Taylor, who is the chief of obstetrics and gynecology there, and a number of other prominent doctors, including Andrew Weil. And the Baby Safe Project basically says pregnant women should avoid direct exposure to the pregnant abdomen from cell phones and from tablets, because we know that anything held directly on the body is going to get into the body. Let me tell you something about tablets. All of these tablets being used in all of these schools around this country, being sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. The tablet is tested to be used on a table 20 centimeters from an adult male body. They are not supposed to be held by young children. And what we tell people is disconnect from the internet. If you must give a wireless device to a child, whether a phone or a tablet, make sure it's no longer on the internet. Put it on airplane mode, and recognize something. If you go to our website, ehtrust.org, you will find on that site clear information about digital dementia, which has occurred in Korean children, so that the Korean psychiatrists are warning about this. It's a lack of development of the brain.
The government's trying to ban kids now on their screen time in Korea because it's literally turning them into zombies.
I actually have a column on Huffington Post on e-zombies, and I would really appreciate your linking to that information, as well as on our website, we've got stories about this that are very important for people to understand. You're not doing your child a favor if he learns to read at age 3 or 4 by glued to a screen. That's when children need to be held. That's when they need to be talked to. That's when they need to learn how to use their fine, stubby fingers and coordinate their eyes and their hands. And if we raise a generation that's digitally sophisticated at these young ages, we are short-circuiting some of the brain development that neuropsychiatrists understand is quite critical. We are creating a generation that lacks the ability to have empathy, that lacks the ability to look you in the eye and anticipate the consequences of actions. Think about what that would mean.
It's almost like artificial sociopaths, and that's what I'm seeing with people that have just the last 10 years been on iPhones and on tablets and things. People don't talk. We've all seen the film footage, people falling into fountains or walking into streets, and it literally is creating a bunch of unconnected type people. And then you were mentioning, Doctor, some of the studies out there of what screen time's doing to little kids.
Right. And in fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time for children under the age of 2 at all, and then limited use afterwards. And Israel, with all the things going on in Israel right now, they just this week launched a website in Hebrew, but it can be translated, with safety information for parents and children, because they are so deeply concerned about the use of this device. And in Israel, they recommend no Wi-Fi in kindergartens and with young children whatsoever. And we are blanketing our schools with Wi-Fi without realizing that there is no proof that digital learning actually teaches children things that they retain, and that the old-fashioned way of learning with reading and pencil and paper and crayon really works for the brain. It's not just a question of being old-fashioned and hanging on to basic reading, writing, arithmetic. That way of learning where a child...
Sure, I mean, it's genetic that we've always done it that way, so that's how our brain gets activated. I don't even know how humanity's going to survive this. I want to ask you where you think it's all going, Doctor. Amazing. ehtrust.org. When we come back, we'll plug that website one more time.
Our big story. Gun owners react as politicians continue to ban high-capacity magazines state by state.
I think that these weapons ought to be stopped.
Magazine restrictions have already happened in 9 states. Staffed with former special operations personnel, GunMagWarehouse.com is the only company that specializes in gun magazines. GunMagWarehouse.com has the largest selection of the magazines you should stock up on. Go now to GunMagWarehouse.com before it happens in your state. Get it before you regret it.
If you own a business, you need customers, right? Well, your potential customers are listening to this radio program right now, and I can help you reach them. Hi, I'm Matt Brower, a national marketing executive at the radio network responsible for this program. I can help you customize a national radio campaign that fits your budget, large or small, while targeting your specific audience. Call me to learn how radio advertising can make your business more profitable. 877-996-4327, extension 128. That's 877-996-4327, extension 128.
Open your eyes. It's time to give your eyes a powerful nutritional boost. Sight is the primary input to the brain, arguably making eyesight the most important sense we have. And just like the other important organs in our bodies, our eyes function at peak levels when they are fed the proper amounts of essential nutrition. Open your eyes. Combining key ingredients like vitamin A, zinc, lutein, proprietary saffron bulb extracts, and more, OcuPower by InfoWars Life is a new formulation specifically designed to nutritionally assist the natural function of healthy eyes. Optimize the natural power of your eyes with the latest addition to the super high-quality InfoWars Life formulations, OcuPower. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to order OcuPower or call 1-888-253-3139. OcuPower. Open your eyes.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom.
Well, she's one of the leading experts on the dangers of cell phone radiation, but it's not just cell phones. It's across the board, ehtrust.org. And I get real emotional about this because I sit here 20 years on air, literally seeing thousands of news articles. While we've been talking, for the TV viewers, we've been throwing up, mainstream science studies, it's not debatable. The question is, how bad is it? It's not a question of, is it bad? It's how bad. And then all these medical doctors about the skyrocketing brain cancer they're seeing, always on the side of the head of where people use the phones. It's got to stop. People have got to get out of the habit. Potentially, this could end up being bigger than cigarettes. And they've done mouse studies. We've got one of those from PubMed, mobile phone radiation induces mode-dependent DNA damage in mouse. I mean, it just goes on and on and on with the type of stuff that this is, and manipulating the melatonin. And that's what I've noticed, Doctor, in closing, is where do you see this going? A, B, it seems like people that I know that use cell phones are addicted to them. There'll be a landline right there and they won't use it with zero radiation. And I've seen studies where they say it can heat the brain 1 degree and that it does show heightened activity in the brain, that it almost has a speed effect. Is that accurate?
Well, we are concerned that it looks like it stimulates dopamine, which is drugs, sex, rock and roll, and maybe cell phones do stimulate the brain.
There you go.
And it could be a physiological component to the addiction. That is an example of why we need a major research program in this field. And I think that we will soon be getting it because people are going to demand it. Now, let me be clear. The research is not all uniformly showing a problem. There is a substantial body of research that says there's no problem at all. And guess what? It's been paid for the most part, by the industry. And that, unfortunately, creates a very difficult problem for anyone trying to look at the data, because industry has also influenced many official assessments of the problem. They have not influenced the Israeli government, fortunately. They have not influenced the French, by the way. And those governments, as well as some in India, have recently called for severe limits on the use of cell phones by children. In Belgium, it's against the law for a 7-year-old to be given a cell phone. And
I think it should be. I really do. It's just...
Well, let me just say this. Cell phones have revolutionized our ability to respond to emergencies and our ability to do business, especially in remote areas. There's no question about it. People have a right to know. It's the basic principle of democracy. They have the right to know how to use these things more safely.
But a child can't have them until they're at the age of consent, and they have a right to not be given all this stuff and be roasted by it until they're 15 or so. And I just have seen too many of the studies as you have. I just realized that this is an epidemic of cancer. And now the smart meters that I've read are even stronger in some cases. I mean, this is just crazy.
Yeah, we do not have adequate information about all of these things, and that's why it's important that we get it. That's why we do have to have this major funding, 2 cents a month. Would you give 2 cents? And frankly, Alex, I'm launching that right here and now for the first time. We haven't even put it up on our website. Maybe you can help.
I didn't know that. Well, please come back on next week and do a whole, or later in the week, and do a whole hour, and we'll put out your press release and try to help you. That makes perfect sense, though, because we're going to need to create a whole field of science, as you were saying, just to look at this and just to deal with it. Because it's connected to, as you said, breast cancer, testicular cancer, brain cancer. This is just an epidemic. How do people find the New Environmental Trust? Is that what you're talking about?
The environmentalhealthtrust.org, ehtrust.org is our website. We have information there, and we hope that people will download our free information under free downloads. Go to Facebook and like us, follow us.
I'll tell you what, do 5 more minutes, because I want to know if you're announcing in here, have you put a press release out yet? Because oh, wow, well, we'll talk to you about getting that done. Because I'd like to do that with some of our writers, maybe Paul Watson or somebody, because that's a great idea.
Today.
Back in 1 minute. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. just won't quit.